Right, so we're here in the actual animation scene. So as you can see, of course, this looks a lot better just because all of these assets, I mean, I spend a lot of time just polishing everything. So yeah, that's the actual scene. But in general, you can see it's quite the same. So a little bit different. You can see there's also a ground plane here, which I added because you could sort of see the ground from here. So I kind of wanted to add something for the ground in there. You can see there's also seaweed in the background, which we didn't do in the assembled scene, but you can add that if you want. So you can see that sort of scattered on the thing, and apparently also just going through it here, but you didn't see it anyway, so whatever. But apart from that, it's basically the same. You can see there's a whole bunch of extra lights, which I just did to, well, just fill up the scene, which we'll go over in a little bit. So there's a subnet for assets, which I just just testing out some stuff, like testing the scattering of the coral, testing out the rock, testing it out with an HDRI here. So you can see that's just an HDRI that I tried. So yeah, but apart from that, it's basically the same thing that we've been doing for this entire course. It uses all of the same techniques, but this was just a lot more effort put into, well, tweaking all of the parameters. And that's essentially also what you're gonna need to do if you're gonna do this for yourself and like going to make your own shot. It's also just an art form, and it's just not the software. It's also just the skill of like doing, well, lighting, making stuff look good, like making stuff look convincing, having animation look nice. But yeah, that's just doing something a lot. And that just comes with practice, and just keep doing it over and over and over again until you're somewhat good at it. Which a course can only teach you techniques, but you need to actually put it to use yourself to sort of learn how it sort of works. I will make an extra part after the entire video is done, showing some early renders that I did, and you can sort of more see the process behind it and see that my early renders were super ugly and like the early stuff that I did. So again, we're gonna do that as well. So that should also be useful. But like there was a couple of more stuff that I did. So I have this band here, which I did show in the tutorial, but this will, this sort of, you can see what he does is like he sort of twists and he sort of bends forward. So I do this with a twist here and with a bend. And you can see just the model is a little bit more tweaked. Like there, he has like a little gap here, which I kind of liked. Yeah, apart from that, oh, and he's closed. So the model itself is closed. So I think, oh, that might be why the lighting is behaving a little bit different. No, it's the side here. There's still some. I'm not sure on my other scene. Let's see in the other scene we had, which is, oh, no, that's the render scene. So that might be why the lighting was behaving a little bit differently on him as well. So right now he's more solid. But yeah, I mean, you have the eyes rotating. You can see we have the noise going through it. But uses all of the same techniques that we discussed before. So let's just fire up the IPR, and then let's just discuss some of the extra stuff that's in here. So let's just press render. So it's complaining, I think, here about some, yeah, like one of the GOSs of the corals that is not here because we generated one less. Why is it not grabbing the squid? Let's have a look. Oh, I have not the correct thing selected. All right, let's go in there. Let's render again. Let's reload. Right, so there we go. So you can see this. This is quite slow now. It's just a pretty heavy sort of asset. You can see it's very hard now to define the squid. Like the IPR is now quite slow because all the extra lights and all the extra stuff. I could probably have optimized the scene a little bit better. If we bucket render the squid, you're gonna see a little bit better what's going on. Then we can have a better look at the subsurface scattering. You see at least like the detailing will be a lot better on him. See the caustics a lot better. So I think on the original assemble scene, we should have probably spent some more time on changing the material for the subsurface scattering material to be like less subsurface scattery, I guess. As you can see, like there's these caustics here. We have these eyes. We should have at least, see if it's actually. Okay, so I don't have the AUV on this one enabled. So what I originally had is I originally rendered these eyes like this, and then as I mentioned before, I did the whole UV pass thing later, so I didn't have original UV pass on the eyes. So I added that later. So maybe let me add that right now. So then we have something there as well. So let me add that as an AOV, because then we can use that when we do the compositing, because I had that as a separate render for the eyes. Custom UV pass. Right. Oh, and the deadline thing below here, you can ignore that. That's a Deadline is a render management program that I use. I have a video on Deadline as well on how you can configure that. So you might want to check that out. It's on timvanhelsdingen.com. Yeah, let's render one more time. And in this scene, I have a ton of coral pieces being scattered. A lot more than in the test scene that we had. I'm not sure how many there, but there are thousands. Also the same with the rocks. Those are also, there's a lot more being scattered. So that all of that stuff really adds up to make it, well, look good, but also to make it slower. So, all right, so I'll check back in a bit why the UV pass is not working right now. I moved this scene over to the tutorial folder when I did this, so it could be that I cleaned some stuff up. So I just have to figure that out. But in the meantime, let's just have a look at some additional stuff that I have here. Some additional lights and let's go up level. Let's turn off bucket mode. Oh, that's so slow. That's always the thing when you're dealing with like scenes this heavy. Even if like GPU rendering is generally fast, like when you're just dealing with these heavy scenes, it is just gets so cumbersome.